Hello, I'm Dr. Priya Hassan, and welcome to this episode of Astro Bits. Now, in today's episode, we are going to talk about some interesting objects which have been visiting us, which we also call interstellar visitors. So, if you look at this image over here, you can see this image. We basically have had till now 3 confirmed interstellar visitors. Okay, so these are basically objects which originate from outside our solar system, do not belong to our solar system, and seem to come to visit us. So what you see in this first image, this is an image which is called ʻOumuamua, which was actually discovered in 2017. And this one, when it was discovered, people realized that it's moving from the sun, and when they traced its orbit, they actually figured out that it's actually coming from an external source, not exactly from the galaxy. In 2019, another object was observed, which is actually a comet called Comet Borisov, and this one actually had you can look at ʻOumuamua. This is the orbit of ʻOumuamua, and Borisov also was coming into the solar system like this, and like in ʻOumuamua's case, this was also an object coming from another star system, a visitor. And now very recently we have another visitor which has come, and that's what we're going to talk about today, which is called the Comet 3I Atlas. Okay, so here we have this object which is here, which clearly looks like a comet. But this object was a very interesting object. This was observed there is a network of telescopes called the Atlas. Okay, now Atlas telescopes are basically asteroid terrestrial impact last alert system. Okay, so basically it's a network of telescopes which you can see over here. The orange are the ones which are planned, while the green ones are the ones which are active. And basically what their job is, it's a robotic system which basically scans the skies for asteroids which can pose a threat to the Earth. So you basically study the motion of the asteroid and calculate its orbit and see whether it's a threat to the Earth or no. So that is what basically Atlas does. And Atlas actually discovered this. It first discovered this in 2019 in December. And what is interesting about this object is that this object, it actually makes its closest appearance to the Earth around December 19th this year. And it was closest to the sun around October this year. But at that time it was about 200 million kilometers. And what people actually noticed that this was obviously, like you said, the orbits of ʻOumuamua as well as Comet Borisov, it's actually clearly coming from outside the solar system. And people were very interested about what is this cosmic neighbor or whatever, interstellar object. So you see the object is called 3I Atlas. So 3 is because it's a third interstellar object, so 3I, and observed with the Atlas system telescope in Hawaii. This was done by the one in Hawaii, and this is the one which was this thing. Now this was obviously very interesting for people. People could actually see it as a faint new speck of light, and there were various stories which came about it. Like ʻOumuamua was also an interesting object. You can see the shape of the object is very weird. This one looks very comet-like. So if you actually see this one with spectroscopic analysis, this seems to have a lot of cyanogen gas and diatomic carbon. And what happened is that people, the Hubble telescope was also used to look at this object, and they realized that this object seems to be disintegrating. Okay, so it's a fragile icy nucleus which was perhaps weakened by its long journey through the space, and it recently, even this thing, the sun, like I told you, and people were obviously very interested in observing it. So a lot of telescopes all over the world are actually observing it. So I'm sure I'm going to have another session on this, because like I told you, the closest approach is coming very soon in December, and there'll be a lot of more new observations about this object and it's this thing. So these are very interesting objects because, like I said, these do not belong to our solar system. They are visiting the solar system, and hence they are very interesting. So I look forward to another episode on this, which we'll have after the close proxim is there. So then we'd probably have more to say about it. Thank you.